Hi, sports fans. Hey, I wanted to put a little something up about recovering old ammunition. And so this video is about recovering old ammunition and some of the steps that you should go through to make sure that the items that you recover, such as bullets and casings and primers, are in good shape. So, having said that, this video is not for children. This video is for people who have some knowledge of reloading and who have some experience handling ammunition, because inherently ammunition can be dangerous if it's improperly handled. And you don't want to have a problem. Nobody wants to have a problem. So if you're unsure of what you're doing, don't do it. That's my advice. Anyway, so on with the video, and I hope you enjoy this. Talk to you later. Please like and subscribe when you get a chance. Well, hi there. Hey, this afternoon, I'm out in the shop working on some old brass that I got. I got some old 30-06 rounds that the person didn't want to deal with anymore because they were so old, and they figured they only had one more firing left in them. So they gave them to me, and I said, well, I'll knock the bullets out of them. I'll take the powder out of it, and recover what I can. And this video is to talk about that recovery. Now, bear in mind, I don't know how many times this brass has been shot, but as a reloader, I'm kind of curious as to how it's going to do, whether it's going to survive or not. So, my first step in this project was to pull the bullets out, and I pulled a whole bunch of them out, and they were encrusted with all kinds of stuff. And what I do with those is in my little hopper here, and you can see when I spin this thing around, there's I have nails in there. I've got other stuff other than just this ground up wood pulp. So there's a lot of things in there affecting it. Also, I always add a little bit of Brasso, and what that does, it helps remove the corrosion, as well as it coats the copper and the brass, so it doesn't corrode so fast. Now here's the result of that. The brass looks almost new. Some of it needs a little more time than that. But the bullets, they come out fantastic. So I'll bag those up, and you can see there's a lot of different types there. So I'll separate them by weight, by size, by type. Those are all 30 calibers. So, and they're very usable at this point, even though they have been at one time crimped into a cartridge. So you see these cartridges, I pulled all the primers out. I've never had a primer that didn't fire. Even in old stuff that was improperly. Now, I've had some shotgun shells that were stored in a leaky shed that were so rusty it was ridiculous. Every one of them fired. So I'm pretty optimistic that those primers that I pulled out of these rifles rounds, which have been kept in somewhat of a controlled environment, if not other than a plastic bag, they've at least been in a plastic bag, so they're probably okay. So I'll probably reload those and use them again. Let me show you something else here. Now, some of the brass had been work hardened, and when I went to punch the primers out, you can see, ooh, come on now, there's a crack in there. So these are no good. So I won't use those at all. There's a big old crack in that. Yeah, look at that. And that's just from punching the primers out. So typically that's where we see on rifle rounds that it's going to fall apart. So, and I have a few. So I don't keep all the brass. I only keep the brass that survives. So over here, what I've been doing is annealing. I do the 5-6 second thing with my drills set up here. Put the cartridge in that 12 millimeter socket, spin it around in the flame for 5 seconds, 6 seconds till it looks right. I used to anneal saw blades, so I do have an idea of what they need to look like in order to harden them. Then I quench them in water, of course, and they come out looking like this. Hopefully that's soft enough. I'll run them through the sizer one more time, and then prime them and load them once they're all dry. But anyway, so that's my project for today. Hope you enjoyed that. The process is pretty simple. It doesn't require a lot of extra work. It does require some care in looking at the brass, making sure it's a good length. Now, most of this stuff I've already run through. I've already run it through and cleaned out the primer pocket and swaged the primer pocket, as well as chamfered. Come on. Chamfered the top edge of the cartridge. Come on, focus, darn it. So, anyway, so that's already chamfered and that's ready to load. So I'll do one more measurement step, make sure that it'll meet my rigid standards for cartridge length. They aren't too rigid. Anyway, and yeah, I've got an older Enfield rifle that, oh, look at this, is inspecting my work here. As long as that torch isn't on, you're in good shape. I'll keep inspecting the cartridges, make sure that there's no cracks or holes or corrosion, excessive corrosion. And but I think they should be fine. Anyway, maybe there'll be a follow-up video on reclaimed bullets, reclaimed and reloaded bullets, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, and talk to you later. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. We really appreciate you here, and you take care. Bye-bye. Well, hi there. Hey, I decided I was going to finish this video all at one time, so here's a new take on it. The bullets that I recovered, I've cleaned up. I'll show you what I have here. I have 15 Sierra Match 30 caliber 125 grain FMJ. They're hollow points. I also have some Sierra 30 cal 165 grain hollow point boat tails, and I have these green tip. They're 125 grain match 30 caliber Sierra TMK match, so they're pretty good bullets. glad I didn't throw them away. Anyway, so for the cartridges, as you recall, I annealed the reclaims, and I had a few of my own. So what I've done, I've gone ahead and worked up the formula for what I need to reload these, and the primers that I took out I put back in, all except 2 went in very snugly. 2 went in a little bit loose. So those I've sealed in with fingernail polish. We'll see how those work. Anyway, so, but I'm gonna go ahead. I have all of these done at this point. What I'm using is 3031 powder, and you can see back there I've got my reloading all set up, and I have 50.4 grains of 3031. That should put these bullets at 3,020 feet per second. And I have a chronograph here, so I'll be using that when I shoot these. And I'm only going to load up 10 at this time. Let's see how they do. If it proves the point, then it proves the point. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So anyway, but so no big deal. You know, in tough times, you got to do strange things. And if you can't get primers, sometimes you just got to reuse the old stuff that you get. I had a friend give me a bag of 12 gauge shotgun shells. They look pretty rough. He said, yeah, I don't know if these are going to fire or not. They've been on top of a cabinet in a shed that was leaking for a couple of years. They were a little rusty. Well, I removed the rust, cleaned up the bases, and wiped them off, and every one of them shot. So I think the primers are probably fine. I guess we're going to find out. So the next 5 that I'm going to load are right down there. Those I have marked the necks on these so that I can identify which ones were annealed and which ones were not. Now, the ones that I did not anneal were brass of my own, so I know it's probably going to be fine. The other stuff, I don't know. We'll see. If I experience cracks, I'll throw the rest of them away. So, yeah, and if primers start backing out, yeah, I'll throw the rest of them away. So, but we'll see together. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll be back. Talk to you later. Bye. See you on the range.
Well, here we are. This is a little better. Should not be shooting without ear protection on and glasses. So I have them both, and I think we're ready to go. Let me adjust the volume so it's down low. There we go. All right. That worked. 28, 26. Brass looks good. 2780. I think we're ready to fire, actually. $28.73. I think we'll leave those off. All right. So those are 2,800 feet per second. The ones I have here should be going about 3,131 feet per second. Now, we do have a split in the neck of this cartridge, so this cartridge is no good. They were right. Got another error message. $31.03. That's a little better. Oh my. It's the difficult part. 11. That's split neck too. Okay. Well, I'm thinking those are unreliable at this point. The necks are going to split. Well, let's see. I managed to get everything fire and actually had 2 case failings with split cases, so that's not too bad. Out of 10, 8 of them fired. The way I had loaded these was for 3,020 feet per second, but the average ran 3,000, I'd say 120 feet per second, about 120 feet per second faster than what I expected. So that actually was a pretty good test of these cases, especially if I'm going to load them at a lower rating for pressure. So that's not too bad. Anyway, I'm happy with the results. I'm not terribly happy with the gun. It's become relatively unwieldy. The Eddystone 30-06 was a heavy gun to begin with, and adding the scopes and all that stuff on it makes it more of a target rifle than anything else. The action isn't as crisp as it could be, so I need to do some work to it. But anyway, so that's where we're at. All the primers fired. These are reclaimed primers out of stuff that I pounded the bullets out of, reused the bullets, reused the brass, reused the primers. The only thing I changed was the powder. So these all work great. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Hey there, in closing, I thought it'd be interesting to see the target I was shooting at way down range. The bullets performed exceptionally well. All 13 of them struck the target, um, I would say in the kill zone. Almost all of them in the 7 ring, one in the shoulder, um, one in the 8 ring, 3 in the 9 ring, and one dead center in the X. Now, I wasn't particularly aiming at the target. I was just kind of generally shooting at the target. So all of these happened despite my not aiming. So it isn't that I was doing a wonderful job. It's just that happened to hit the target. So that worked out pretty well. Later on, I fooled around a little bit, shot the bowling pin, shot steel. Um, so the rifle is sighted in. So, much to my own amazement, at 100 yards, it performed very well. So, um, what can I say? I had two brass failures, which I called out. Didn't harm the gun at all. So that's the way it goes. Talk to you later. Thanks again for watching.